The voice of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks.
With Adrian Kennedy.
We're live every morning from 10 on 98FM.
I want to hear from you. There was a bit of a row in our office earlier on over this about them standing in the way of progress and how we desperately need this metro service. It's going to put people out, but they need to get over themselves. I'm joined on the line by Cormac O'Donoghue, who is the chairman of Glasnevin GAA Club. Cormac, welcome to 98FM. Tell me how the development of the metro is going to affect Glasnevin.
Adrian, effectively the proposal as it stands at the moment is likely to rip out the heart of the community in our local area in Drumcondra and Glasnevin. And the biggest effect it's going to have is actually on our membership and on our children. Our facilities are utilised by up to 2,000 children on a weekly basis. That's of our club members alone. And the withdrawal of those facilities in the heart of our community is going to have a major effect, particularly on those children, their lifestyle and their ability to engage in their community.
Now, some people are a little bit confused how the development of the metro will directly impact on Glasnevin. So tell me exactly what you've been told and what the impact will be.
First of all, we have been a little bit frustrated by the fact that we are only in receipt of information on this, effectively some detailed information since Tuesday, 48 hours before the announcement of the new emerging proposed route was made. And what the proposal entails is actually the requisitioning of our main facility, which is our main pitch on Mulvey Road, and our two all-weather facilities. They are the most utilised community facilities in our area and in our community. The plans entail requisitioning those for the complete period of construction of the new metro link.
So essentially, it would mean the closing down of Glasnevin on Mulvey Road.
Well, at the moment, Adrian, we're trying to examine the details in principle. Obviously, there has been a serious amount of planning going on in the background for a number of months, which we were not privy to. We're now trying to assess the full details and the full proposals. We're trying to understand exactly what the plans, as outlined by TII and the NTA, are. And then we'll have a better idea of exactly what it will mean. But our understanding at the moment is that it will, in effect, remove our community and our cultural activities from the heart of our community. And that will have an irreparable damage, particularly on the younger generations, so those coming through, who may well miss the opportunity that have been afforded to those of us who had the pleasure of availing them over the years to date.
So essentially, Glasnevin, which was one of the finest facilities on the north side in terms of GAA facilities, will become a building site for the period of the development of the metro.
Precisely, Adrian. And at the moment, our understanding of the plans is that our clubhouse will be encapsulated by a building site, which will effectively render it to being useless for 6 or possibly 7 years. And we're obviously gravely concerned about it. While we have to say as well, we certainly recognise the need for improvement in our public transport system. I think that is absolutely key. But however, we do feel that doesn't have to be done at the expense of community and cultural activism. And we feel it quite remarkable that probably one of the most successful social and community and sporting enterprises in our community, in our city, and possibly in our country, in Cena, has been the chosen site. Maybe it's somewhat reflective of the level of respect that's afforded to community activism and volunteerism in our society, which is maybe a little bit of a sad commentary on where we're at the minute. All right,
finally, Cormac, what can and what will you do about this?
Well, at the moment, Adrian, we're just less than 24 hours from since the announcement of it. We're exploring all of our options at the moment.
Cormac O'Donoghue, chairman of Glasnevin GAA Club on Mulvey Road. Thanks very much indeed for joining us on 98FM.
Adrian.
I'd love to hear from you on this on 6797981. If you've kids involved in Glasnevin, if you're involved in Glasnevin yourself, or if you think they should just suck it up and get over it. I'd love to hear from you. 6797981.
Okay, what have we got?
27-year-old male doctor having trouble in the bedroom department.
Too small?
No, Too big. There's so much choice in Des Kelly Interiors. He can't decide which bed to get.
Well, damn it, he just needs to talk to a Des Kelly bedding expert.
Yes, Doctor.
Did I ever tell you about the trouble I had in the bedroom department?
No, Doctor.
Good. For all kinds of beds, drop into Des Kelly Interiors, where quality costs less.
One of the hardest things about dementia
is how isolating it can be.
So understanding how much your continued friendship really means.
Understanding the value of including people.
And understanding that slowing down to let me gather my thoughts
can actually make all the difference.
It's time to understand together. To stand together with the 500,000 people whose families have been affected by dementia. Visit understandtogether.ie or call 1-800 341 341 from the HSE and our partners.
Hi, my name is Deirdre. I fought cancer and now I need your help for children fighting cancer. Together with Aveen's Pink Tide, the Irish National Children's Cancer Charity, we can help them. And we can beat a Guinness World Record in the process. Join hundreds of fantastic women for the world's largest skinny dip in Wicklow on June the 9th. To get involved in this women-only strip and dip, visit worldslargestskinny.ie for more information.
Can I get out of this now? It's freezing.
With Paddy's Day and the Easter holidays all coming along at once, you're thinking about saving money elsewhere. Well, think about this. If you switch to Liberty Insurance, you can get up to 5 weeks free car insurance when you quote and buy online. Get our best quote in just 2 minutes at libertyinsurance.ie. Online discount applies to new car policies only. 5 weeks free equals a 10% discount. Maximum discount €150. Subject to minimum premium and applied before covers. Acceptance terms and conditions apply. Liberty Insurance DAC is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Thinking Volkswagen? Think Frank Keane Volkswagen. In our exclusive event, we'll double your purchase contribution. Yes, that's double your purchase contribution and offer you the lowest finance rate in the market. This event ends on Saturday the 24th at 4 p.m. sharp.
Isn't it time you booked a breakaway? With Ryanair, you can choose from over 200 destinations from only $19.99, making it simple and affordable to try somewhere new. Book now on Ryanair.com or the app from just $19.99 one way. Ryanair, low fares made simple. Limited availability, see Ryanair.com.
Live and exclusive to Dublin's 98FM, Monday through Friday between 10 and midday. This is Adrian Kennedy. You're with 98FM's Dublin Talks. And Aideen is here with Friday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. Good morning. We're just getting some breaking news. Islamic State claims it has taken hostages in France. The details are just breaking now. We'll bring you more as soon as we can. Follow us online for the latest. The beast from the east isn't done with Ireland just yet. Met Éireann's forecasting temperatures will plummet early next week, leaving the possibility of snowfall. But forecasters believe it won't be as cold as the previous two cold snaps. Nafina is opposing the new Metrolink plans. The construction phase of the €3 billion rail project will see the Glasnevin GAA club lose access to its pitches. The club says they only found out about the plans a week ago. The taxman's ordered a number of first-time buyers to pay back money they received from the Help to Buy scheme. It's after an audit determined that they actually didn't qualify for the grant worth up to €20,000. And thousands of volunteers are out across the country collecting for the Irish Cancer Society. The charity hopes to raise €4 million in its biggest fundraising event of the year. And now you're up to date on 98.
98FM. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
It's Friday morning, the 23rd day of March 2018. I hope everything is good with you. I'm Adrian Kennedy, and from now until midday today, this is 98FM's Dublin Talks. A little bit later on, we have a pair of tickets to give away for this Sunday's Dublin-Monaghan League match in Croke Park. I won't say it's a must-win because Dublin have already topped the league, but it's always a good match between Dublin and Monaghan. They play this Sunday in Croker. I have a pair of tickets to give away for that match on our Say What You See quiz. Now, talking of the GAA, one particular GAA club on Moby Road in Glasnevin is not happy. Not happy with proposals for the development of the metro, which were announced yesterday. The details of the route were announced yesterday, and it goes all the way from the south side out to and past Dublin Airport, out to Swords. It is a facility, in fact it's quite embarrassing in this country that every other airport you fly to, unless it's a really tiny little shed of an airport, has a rail connection. You get off the plane, you go downstairs, you hop on a train and off you go. Dublin, no, we don't have that facility. So it is being planned. But part of the plans and part of the route take in the area around Nafina GAA Club. And They were told only on Tuesday that essentially their front pitches are going to be, well, taken away from them essentially, and turned into a building site for the period of the build. Now, some people are saying, get over it, you'll have other pitches, it'll be grand, it's only for a couple of years and then you can get back to normal. Others are saying that Na Fianna need to get over themselves. They shouldn't be standing in the way of progress. We desperately need this metro to Dublin Airport. And as I said, it is quite embarrassing. If any of you travel anywhere, you will realise how poor our transport links are when you arrive into Dublin Airport. It's, we're used to it. We know we can get the air coach or whatever to go wherever we're going. You can get a taxi, you can get a bus. But really, it's not good enough in this day and age, so we don't have a rail connection to Dublin Airport. It's finally being planned, and a lot of people are saying that organisations like Na Fianna GAA should just suck it up, basically. Frank, you're on 98FM. How are you, Frank?
Adrian, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Frank. How are you getting on? What did you want to say on this?
I think the Metro should get preference there, to be quite honest with you.
At the expense, and by the way, for those of you not familiar with Na Fianna, it is one of the most successful, one of the most vibrant GAA clubs in the whole of Dublin. It has produced some amazing footballers that have played for Dublin. It's a brilliant facility. I was actually meant to be going to a party there tonight, but I'm going to be away. It's that good a facility, and it's going to be, I won't say obliterated, but it's going to be desperately affected.
Well, listen, it will continue to produce fantastic players, Adrian. That's not the issue. You have to break an egg to make an omelette. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if this was happening a kilometre or a kilometre and a half either opposite side of Na Fianna, they wouldn't care less. Wouldn't bother them. Now, there was businesses in town there while the Lewis Works was going on, that was affected. They had to just put up with it. Now they're reaping the rewards because there's more people coming into the city with the Lewis,
Yeah, no, I do get that, and I remember.
And unfortunately, Na Fianna has been there. It's like the issue with Pro Park, say, and where it is. It's been there from day one, if you like.
Yeah.
But Dublin has grown vastly, and it's moving on, and we have to move on. Now, Na Fianna GAA can use. There's Aaron's Oil up there in Finglas. There's a few clubs around that they can use the pitch if and when they need to use the pitch. They can do some sort of deal with the contractors or whatever. Put a time on it, starting from this month and then 2 years exactly we want their pitch back and that's it. I'm sure Na Fianna, I'm sure they'll get a few bob over it if they play their cards right.
Okay, so you're saying that even though it will be a huge inconvenience for them, they shouldn't be standing in the way of progress?
No, you cannot. You can't do that. You can't. I mean, that's like someone, if they're building a motorway and you've one guy living in a house in the middle of it. And he says, no, I don't want it. What, do you stop the bid? Do you stop the motorway and go around them?
Well, no, that's where compulsory purchases come in,
You take it off them. Now, I mean, no, you can't. And I mean, I know there's 2,000 kids that use it, but I mean, the amount of people that will be using the Metro, I'm afraid, outweighs that vastly, so...
All right, stay there for 1 second, Frank. I'd love to hear from you on this. If you're involved in the club, if you've children who go to the club, as we heard from Cormac O'Donoghue a while ago, 2,000 children a week use the facilities of Na Fianna. And as I said, it's a fantastic ground. It's a fantastic clubhouse. Now, there are also schools right beside it that are going to be affected by this as well. But, as Frank said, should they be standing in the way of progress? Billy, you're on 98FM. How are you, Billy?
Oh, yeah, I agree with Frank. I'm a member of a GAA club in the north side. I won't mention it because I don't want to fall out with anyone in Na Fianna. But we had a lovely few pitches in their area, and it was took over by a developer. And we done great over. He built us a new clubhouse. Now, we don't have a bar, but he built us a new clubhouse and 2 fine pitches. He took over the land where we used to lease the pitches, and he built a massive housing estate there. And you have all other clubs, like Na Fianna will do well over it, like Frank says, they will do well, they'll get money, they get relocated. You take O'Toole's used to be from the North Wall, now they're relocated up to Blunden Drive off the Darndale roundabout, with a fine 2 pitches, hurling wall and the clubhouse. And you've got so many other clubs, you've got Kieran's that have pitches on the N32, you've Ballymun who don't even play in Ballymun, they play up at the airport. across from the helicopter place. So you have loads of clubs that don't play in their area. It's not the end of the world. And I used to play against Nafina, and they had a pitch in Santry Avenue, which I think they still have. So they'll get new pitches elsewhere. They'll get a better clubhouse, and they'll have a bit of money in the bank. It's not the end of the world. And the need for the Metro far outweighs everything else.
And is it that simple that we need to, no matter who gets inconvenienced, this needs to go ahead regardless?
Well, like I said, you're talking a lot more people than there's 2,000 members, and I could go through all the players that played for Nafina, like Desi Farrell, Sana Connell, Paul Caffrey, the Dublin manager from there. So. But they just get another pitches somewhere else. Like I said, Ballymun are playing it, not in Ballymun, they're playing up the airport.
Yeah.
My Hall Column-Kills are up in Clogrin. You've got O'Toole's who are up here, not too far from me now. They're off the Darndale roundabout. They used to be from the North Wall, but they moved out. They're not from this area, but they're thriving now. And so are so many other clubs that had to move out. It's not the end of the world. When they move out, they'll be well looked after, and they'll have a bit of money in the bank. Simple as that.
Now, I'm getting messages from people, like one says, Nafina, and I don't know how true this is, somebody might be able to clarify this for me, but it says, Nafina have pitches at the side of the airport near Dardistown Cemetery.
They do, yeah.
Is that right?
That's said to you.
Oh, right, that's right. That's separate from the Ballymun Kickham grounds, is it?
Of course it is. Ballymun Kickham is Park Cicein,
yeah.
Kickham or whatever in Irish, across from the helicopter. And then you have Starlights next to them, and Whitehall had a pitch there, and they had one in Clogrin.
Okay, but Nafina have ones down near Dardistown, have they?
Yeah, totally different, yeah, of course. And they had one in Santry Avenue years ago as well. So, like I said, they've played there for so many years, so it's not like the end of the world if they were to move up that far. But there's no need for them to go that far. I'm sure we could find them something near where they are at the moment, somewhere near Ballymun or somewhere. There's loads of land up there you could build on,
Okay, I have to say I'm a little bit taken aback by this. There's been a lot of commentary today from Nafina with their objections to the proposals for the Metro and how it's going to desperately affect them and their pitches at Moby Road. I have to say, and I'm a little bit surprised by this, not one phone call has come into us supporting Nafina's stance on this. Not one. Which is very interesting. If you're involved in the club, or if you think that Nafina are right to be objecting to the proposals for the Metro North, which will basically render the front of their grounds, the part of the ground that backs onto the fronts onto Moby Road, will make it useless because it'll be essentially a building site while they are developing the Metro North. If you're somebody who fully supports them objecting to this, I'd love to hear from you on 6797981. But at this moment, not one. Very interesting. Emma, you're on 98FM. How are you, Emma?
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks, Emma. What did you want to say?
I think they need to cool the jets. I don't see the Metro happening at all. I mean, as I said in my text, I'm here only 14 years in Swords, and all I've heard is the Metro. It's coming in 2 years. It's coming in 8. It's coming... give over. I don't think they're ever going to build it. I think it's gone too far now. It's like forever since they desperately need it. Disgrace. Like, I used to work in the airport, to come in like into the country's main international airport and have to either get a taxi
or a bus
that takes forever.
Yeah. I've already said that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they need it, but I don't see it happening. You know, the councillors are at the door here every time there's an election peddling the Metro. We'll get the Metro for you. And I feel like saying, I'm 14 years listening to that, give it over.
Although I do think that this time the plan is a little bit more advanced. It is going to happen. It has to happen. I mean,
it has to happen, but I just don't see it. I mean, the last time the plan was out, they had a station picked out there, out where the Ryanair offices is at Airside. And now the offices are all there, so I'm like, where are they putting the station now? There's already a station under the terminal at Dublin Airport. It's lying dormant for years.
Is there?
Yeah, I've been down in it. The track's there. It's ridiculous.
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't think they'll ever do it.
Okay, well, assuming that they do, and, the plans were announced, the route was outlined. Now, obviously, it's all subject to planning permission and everything else, which will take a couple of years. But do you think Nafina are right to be upset over this?
I am a big GAA fan, I won't lie, and I do feel sorry for the clubs, and I'm sure they have very valid reasons, but like the caller just before me said, they will get money out of it, they will find another home. Like I know his club got the clubhouse built and they got given the pitches. Na Fianna mightn't be that lucky to get what his club got, but they will get something out of it. They're not going to be homeless.
Okay, stay there for a second. Teresa, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Adrian. How are you doing?
Teresa, you can understand how Na Fianna are upset over these plans.
I can indeed, and I was actually on the page this morning. Where everything has to move forward. How long are they going to be our concern as a Nava GAA fan? How long is it going to be? Are they going to be rehomed? They're going to get a great picture and say, someone said.
Yes.
And
that they could benefit from it in the long run. The club itself says that no, this is going to screw up the entire club for years on end.
Well, judging by the length it will take them, it will do. You know, they're steadfastly staying there. They said, but if a CPO is put on it, they will have no
alternative
but to move. You know, yes.
Okay, but I have to say the majority of the calls that we are getting are people saying you can't stand in the way of progress. This project is like 30 or 40 years overdue. It should have been built centuries ago. But now that it is being planned, it needs to go ahead. And sorry, Na Fianna, if it's going to put you out a bit, but that's just the way it is.
If it were to go ahead, it would set back the club years and years. Yes, progress is important. I understand that, but the cock up with the Lewis, so on and so on, and all the amount of years it will take, if they would need, and I'm saying it steadfastly as a Nava GAA fan of all clubs, I would definitely say if Na Fianna, and I'm a Ballymun Pickens fan, if Na Fianna were guaranteed, sat down and they were guaranteed, they weren't just shunted out of the area. You could probably, maybe take it, but where it's located, it's been there for years.
It has, yeah, I know. And like I said, I'm very familiar with the place. It's a fantastic ground, fantastic clubhouse, fantastic facility for the area. But the metro, if and when it gets built, will also be a fantastic facility for Dublin.
Yes.
And you could argue where Na Fianna is serving 2,000 kids every week, the metro to the airport will serve countless thousands every week. Do you know what I mean? A lot more than 2,000.
No, yes, I fully understand, Adrian. And I was, as I say, I was on Na Fianna's page this morning, and a lot in favour of saying yes. If not even a better, it's fabulous the way it is. But if we got an area close by, I'd say yes. And people who are saying don't stand in the way of progress, maybe they're not GAA fans. Maybe they're not youths. They don't have family or children who go and play week in, week out.
Well, stay there for 1 second, Teresa, because I'm joined in the studio by Darren Cleary from 98FM Sport, who has a very strong opinion. I was kind of overheard conversations earlier on, Darren. A lot of people saying, in fact, the majority of people saying, that Na Fianna need to get over themselves and they should not be standing in the way of progress of what is an essential piece of infrastructure in Dublin.
I think it's an essential piece of infrastructure in Dublin. I absolutely do. But at what stage do we start prioritising social capital over transport links? I mean, there are many ways, Adrian, to get to the airport.
The bus, a taxi.
The bus, dozens, taxis. Are we that desperate for a metro link that has to destroy for 6 years, the guts of a decade, a massive social community infrastructure?
I get all that. I was saying that I find it quite embarrassing. For example, I'm going to Switzerland this afternoon and I'll get off the plane in Zurich Airport. I have a choice of a tram, I have a choice of an underground train, I have a choice of buses, taxis and everything else. In Dublin, it's a bus or a taxi. We need something more significant to serve what is an airport that's growing by the day. We've a second runway in a year and a half. We need this facility, and you know, a lot of people are saying, sorry, Nafina, if it puts you out a little bit for a couple of years, but we need this more than, it's going to serve more people than Nafina even does.
But it's too lazy to say, sorry, Nafina. This isn't Nafina. This isn't a faceless entity. This is 3,000 human beings.
No, I understand that. I'm very familiar with the club. I'm aware of what they do. Been there, I was actually meant to be going to a party there tonight. And so, yeah, I know what it does and what it stands for and what it's achieved over the years.
But the suggestion that, you know, Nafina is an entity that is trying to stand in the way of progress, I think is lazy, and I think it's a disservice to the debate. I think the debate should be about what's important in life. Transport links to infrastructure of the city, hugely important. Does it need to be done at the expense of the community? Does it need to be done at the expense of housing?
Somebody is always going to be put out, though. I know, for example, a butcher friend of mine on Moore Street, and while the Lewis was being built, his business nearly shut down. Luckily for him, it didn't shut down. Now the Lewis is open, business is booming again. So, do you know what I mean? There are inconveniences in every type of infrastructural development.
But my understanding is here, why does one community need to bear the brunt of this massive?
Just so happens that that's the route of the metro.
Is that the only way you can get from where they need to go to where they need to be? Is that the only way they can go?
Well, Billy, what do you say to all that?
Well, I'm not an engineer. Unless they were to build a highway, you know, from airport out into the city centre.
My understanding is that section will be underground, is that right? Where Nafina is, and it will be a building site at the front of the Nafina ground in order to facilitate that development. Am I right? Have I got that right?
That's my understanding of it. It will be a construction project. It'll be a tunnel boring depot for the duration of the project.
Right. So when the project is over,
it'll be a Road station.
A Moby Road station, yeah. Okay. But won't the ground return to where it was then after that?
In 6 to 10 years' time. There may not be a club to return grounds to in 6 to 10 years' time.
Okay, I'm also being told that, which I didn't realise, that Nafina have pitches out near Dardistown, is that right?
No, they're Dublin City Council pitches. Nafina, like all GAA clubs in the city, can ask Dublin City Council for pitches. There's only one pitch Nafina are ever guaranteed access. That's the main pitch on Moby Road. That's their pitch, they own it, they have control over it. They keep the grass safe, they mind that pitch. They play in St. Vincent's School, they played in Johnstown Park, they play all over the city, in the north side of the city. But they're council pitches and they rely on the good graces of the council to fix matches for there. There's only one pitch Nafina have that they're guaranteed access to, and it's this one.
But it's not the end of the world. They'll still be able to play matches.
I just...
After this project is finished, after 6 or 7 years, Nafina will have their pitch back at the front of their ground again.
How many people will they lose in the interim who will decide, do I really want to put myself through the hassle here? How many people from that environ who drink in the club and socialise in the club? And
the clubhouse will stay.
But it won't operate if there's no GAA club there, Adrian. A GAA club is more than just a crest on a jersey or a dressing room or a ball. It's about the sense of community. And when you take away the pitch, which at the very heart of it is the sense of community, it would be like knocking down O'Connell Street for 6 years and say you can have O'Connell Street back in 6 years.
But that nearly did happen when they were built in the Lewis.
It's a vitally important piece, and I think what shouldn't be forgotten here is that a GAA club, an amateur GAA club that caters for 3,000 active members, that has hundreds of kids there every week, was given a day's full notice.
No, I think that was disgraceful. I have to
say. Adrian?
Yes, Billy, yeah.
What I think should happen now is, I think the Finglas should be given a certain date when the construction will start. Obviously, it's not going to start till 2 or 3 years. Now, and next week, I know I'm rushing to go a bit. Next week or a couple of next months, we should start building a new clubhouse for Nafina somewhere near, right? And with the pitches, like we got.
There's not an awful lot of spare land around that area.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, like I said, like O'Toole's, they might have to move out a few miles out, like O'Toole's did from the North Wall out to London Drive. But they should build a new clubhouse for them pitches, right? And then move them into it, right? They should pay for that, the state. And then when all the work is finished, Nafina have the option if they want to move back. But they probably won't want to move back, because if the job is done right, they'll have 2 lovely pitches and a new modernised clubhouse, if it's all done properly.
Although you can't get much nicer than their clubhouse as it is.
Well, I haven't been in it in years, but I'm sure it needs renovation.
It's state of the art. No, it's been done in the last 10 or 15 years. It's state of the art. The dressing rooms are brilliant. They're well kept. They've got a full-time staff that actually are tasked with looking after the grounds, and it makes money for them in terms of generating revenue from parties. Adrian mentioned himself that he was going to be going to a party. I think this idea that it's an American sports thing that you can take a team, put it in a different place for a while, and if the people like the team enough, they'll come to it. You have to understand, this is at the heart of the community.
Well, sure.
It's happened in the past to football clubs like Shamrock Rovers.
You can't put your heart on your foot and it will still be your heart.
Well, sure, Darren, O'Toole's were at the heart of the community in North Wall, but they all moved out and they ran with the times. They're thriving out here now in London Drive.
Tarja, you're on 98FM. Hi, Tarja.
Hiya.
Now, you're dreading it for loads of reasons, like what?
I'm dreading it for my own selfish reasons as a resident. Just the inconvenience it's going to cause, but I don't think, we don't have a choice. The same people who were calling out for the metro last week are now up in arms because the Fina is affected. Like, I don't have a vested interest in the Fina. I'd be more concerned maybe about Griffith Park being impacted because I walk my dogs there. Do I think it's going to happen? No, because the people with vested interest in the Fina and they're quite vocal. So I doubt what's going to happen to the Fina. I'm kind of more interested in where it might be relocated to.
Oh, so you actually think that enough of if they make a loud enough noise, it will be routed away from where Nafina is, and you're worried about what, that it might be near your house then?
I wonder where else it would be. Like as it is. Like,
and whereabouts do you live?
I live kind of one road over from Moby Road, so close to where they will be doing the boring. And I worked in East Point when they were doing the Port Tunnel, and I felt the shockwaves all the time. So you kind of have that's our kind of aspect of it, and as other residents are kind of concerned about the inconvenience.
But do you not get that? Do you not get that? I mean, yes, I know residents were, residents above where the Port Tunnel is did get a lot of inconvenience, and there was cracks in buildings and everything else. But it's now done. It's a part of the city. Yeah. It's, we've kind of forgotten all that went on while the Port Tunnel was being built. So surely this is the same thing. It's going to be inconvenience for a couple of years.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and hopefully it's managed. Okay, I know like a while back when they were resurfacing the road, I mean, it was going on until maybe 5:30, 6 in the morning, and then you're getting up to work after listening to it all night long, so hopefully it won't be too bad, but I don't think we have an option, if it's not on our side, it'd probably be in Drumcondra. I think it could maybe have a worse impact in Drumcondra, because Drumcondra is a bigger kind of commuter route. Please God, it'll do something about the traffic, but yeah, I don't think we have a choice. Whether it'll happen in the Fina, I don't think it will. I hope my park isn't taken away, but possibly it will be. But
right, and in fact, I've just found out a couple of moments ago, Darren, you were telling me that the incoming president of the GAA is from Nafina.
Yes, John Horns, a Nafina clubman. I think it's more about again, I would point to the fact it's not about patches of grass. Adrian, you've said rightly so, Nafina have a number of patches of grass that they can play on, that they do play on outside of Moby Road. It's about the sense of community. And for a lot of people, it hasn't really been brought to the forefront at the moment. But there are two schools within feet of that what will become a building site.
Yes, which are also going to be inconvenienced.
School Moby and School Katrina. Yeah. And 6 years, you're talking a generation of people who will go to school from first year to sixth year, and school will be a building site.
All right, Sarah, you're on 98FM. Hi, Sarah.
Hello, how are you?
Sarah, you're angry over this. Why?
Well, because you can't move for GAA pitches in Dublin or Ireland for that matter.
That's a bit of an exaggeration now, Sarah.
Seriously. How many ice rinks do we have in Ireland?
None.
How many ice skaters do we have, Sarah?
We have, let me see, we've about 30 to 40.
So you're hardly criticising the success and the brilliance of the GAA, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that it's an actual, they're going to be inconvenienced for maybe a year or two.
No,
3.
well, 6. 6 they've been told.
6 years. Well, what about the people that have to travel to Belfast every weekend so they can train, or the people that have to move away from their country so they can train?
I take it you're involved in that sport, are you?
Yes, I live in Belfast. My daughter is a figure skater. I moved from Rathfarnham to Belfast so she could train.
Oh, right.
And there's absolutely no facilities available for that sport.
But
so why did anybody else get something?
I could argue with you, Sarah, that figure skating is a very minority sport, and it is. Where
it's not really.
Well,
if you look at the ice rinks at Christmas time, all the seasonal rinks that come, they're packed. Absolutely.
No, I understand that, and I'm shocked to hear that you had to move to Belfast just to get your daughter.
I'm not the only one. Our men's senior champion lives in Scotland.
But
he trains in Scotland.
The interest doesn't exist in this country for that sport.
That's my point. Yeah,
that's rubbish.
How do you mean it doesn't exist? My daughter's interested. She's Irish.
If it existed, you'd have 1 million people watching it like the All-Ireland final. You'd have it on every back page of the newspaper.
Well, tell me how many people watched the Olympics, the Winter Olympics that were on. Tell me how many people were involved. We've just had our national championships in London.
The participation and the people who watch it would be a fraction of who are involved in GAA.
I was about to say that. I mean, if you were to get the viewing figures for figure skating in the Winter Olympics here in Ireland, it would be minuscule in comparison to the 1.
But does that make it any less of a sport, though?
I didn't say it does. So your point on this anyway is Na Fianna need to get over themselves, is it?
Well, they're going to be inconvenienced. I've been travelling to Belfast for 5 years before my daughter we moved here. And we used to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning so we could travel so she could be on the ice at 7.
I'm curious to know, did you ring in to highlight the lack of facilities for figure skating, or did you ring in with an opinion on the Fianna GAA club?
Look, I understand GAA is an Irish sport. It's a big sport in our country.
It's the biggest sport in the country. Sorry, it's the biggest sport in the country.
But there are other sports, and you don't see, like, we were supposed to have an ice rink in Liffey Valley, and that was gone, completely gone, scrapped. But there wasn't a big, massive uproar that there is about this.
Yeah, but an eye for an eye and everyone's blind. Just because you don't get it your way surely doesn't mean you would begrudge Na Fianna.
But we're not asking for it to get it our way. We're asking for it to be everybody to be given the same facilities for their sport.
Okay, so your sport gets... I get it. Your sport gets no facilities at all.
None.
And
absolutely none.
This metro,
you get a nice drink at Christmas time in Dundrum.
Okay, this metro project is going to inconvenience one GAA club out of the hundreds that there are around the country, or thousands. I take your point. Let me just bring in one last call. Paul, you're on 98FM. Hiya, Paul.
Adrian, how are you?
Good, thanks, Paul. Very quickly, what do you want to say?
I'm just thinking, in respect of Clonkeene, St. Dan's, I think that possibly dropped. And now Na Fianna, I mean, where's it going to stop? Are we going to start digging up the Phoenix Park next to put in a new rail line? I mean, surely our sports facilities for youngsters are very, very important.
Absolutely.
And I think one thing that's been forgotten about too, Adrian, is right beside Na Fianna is a soccer pitch. I forget who owned the soccer pitch. I'm not sure if it's Home Farm or one of the. It's one of the bigger. It's one of the bigger clubs. I think, yeah.
Yeah, Home Farm, yeah.
There'll be obviously, if Na Fianna's pitches are disrupted for 6 years, obviously that soccer pitch will be disrupted as well. And like I say, I think sporting facilities for our youngsters, we're talking about taking our youngsters off the streets, and we're talking about facilities for our youngsters. And now we're just saying, well, let's disrupt that. Let's not take that away for 6 years. Okay, but
as we said a few minutes ago, it's not like Na Fianna, the clubhouse and everything else is going to be bulldozed to the ground. It's not. The pitches will be requisitioned for 6 years. They can still play elsewhere, Paul.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, Adrian. Why do they have to? Why should they have? Don't get me wrong. I'm all for progress. I agree with progress. I think it's brilliant. I think it's about time we had a metro.
But with every, and I said this earlier on, with every infrastructure project, you do have people inconvenienced by it. Do you know what I mean?
Have disruption, and I take your point on the port tunnel, the people with the port tunnel,
yes.
etc.
And now it's like we forget all of that now that it's open and it's in daily operation.
We do indeed, but the thing is, as I say, Adrian, like Home Farm next door are going to be disrupted as well. The houses facing Na Fianna, the whole road, that road, I'm sure you've travelled along it yourself in the morning time and the evening time.
I travel it every day of the week.
Well, you know what the traffic is like on that road, Adrian. It's a gateway up to Ballymun, it's a gateway further than Ballymun, up to North County Dublin, back at the airport, etc., etc. The utter disruption there is unbelievable for everybody, but just for the football club and the facilities for youngsters, especially, as I say, when
I said, there's no denying it's a fantastic facility, but you think they're right to be objecting, basically?
Absolutely, I agree with them, yeah.
All right, thanks very much indeed, Paul. Darren, thank you for popping in. I'll debate this one with you again, I've no doubt.
Yeah, we'll continue this one.
That's Darren Cleary from 98FM Sport, and thank you very much indeed for all of your calls, comments, texts and opinions. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks.
The voice of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks.
With Adrian Kennedy.
We're live every morning from 10 on 98FM.